Good evening, music fans. This is Music is a Journey. I'm Peter Scove. We are on the cusp of New Year's Eve as I am recording this. I desperately tried to get this episode 48 out by the end of the year. I actually recorded last night doing almost everything, and then I suddenly realized I forgot some things. So it was time to maybe do some of those parts that are necessary for this video. So what you're going to see in today's video is me speaking to you now on December 31st and also me speaking to you on December 30th. There will be some slight changes, but otherwise we'll try to keep the flow going well. So, how about 2021? Well, what a heck of a year, huh? As if the coronavirus wasn't still causing lots of trouble around the world, we had all sorts of weather calamities. Here in Japan, in around June, we had lots of flooding in the western side of the country, which has actually is not such an uncommon thing. In the last 10 years or so, I think they've had flooding, severe flooding in various places around the western side of the country. Probably almost every year for the last 10 years now. My home country of Canada on the west coast where I grew up, what a summer. They broke the national record by several degrees, hitting 49 degrees in one place. I mean, this is Canada, right? We're known for snow and frost and ice and voivod. And we hit 49 degrees in one part of the country. That's unbelievable. And then the town that hit 49 degrees couple weeks later, completely burned to the ground as forest fires raged around the western half of the country, well, the western province of British Columbia anyway. Follow that up with a few months later and 3 tropical rainstorms coming across the Pacific Ocean from Hawaii. We not only had severe flooding and mudslides, but the rise in temperature melted snow on the mountains, which only added to the severity of the mudslides and the flooding. And it was just yet another disaster to hit my home province of British Columbia. Wow. Okay, and apparently now they've had a pretty big snowfall of about 25 to 30 centimeters around my hometown as well. Phew! Well, in other parts of the world, weather disasters, we had flooding in parts of Europe, also some parts of Asia, and then this most recent bout of tornadoes hitting the United States, causing major wreckage and death. Well, yeah, if this is what climate change is all about, gotta say, better count your blessings if you live in a safe place. However, it may not necessarily be just climate change, as we also saw increased solar activity this year, with the northern lights becoming visible down around Vancouver, at least on 2 occasions. And I'll tell you, in all the years that I lived there, I only ever saw the aurora 4 times that far south, so might have something to do with the sun. But anyway, this is not a weather commentary channel or a climate commentary channel or any kind of thing like that. We talk about music here. And what did Music is a Journey do in 2021? Well, we started the year talking about albums from 1971. An important year because not only did those albums turn 50, but I also turned 50. And I'm not alone. All my classmates I graduated with in 1989 also turned 50. Hi guys. What else did we do? Well, we explored Diminished Fifth Records, a record company that existed for several years out in the east side of Canada, and got to listen to a lot of the cool bands that they had. And then we reached a period where I decided that I was going to curb my spending on CDs, because in the last few years it's gotten way out of hand, and year after year I say I'm going to put a limit on it this year, and then I always go way over. So I did manage to curb my spending on CDs for the rest of the year. I actually have not bought nearly as many as I usually do in the last several months. However, I suddenly became mildly interested and then severely interested in a Japanese anime called Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer. Never been much of an anime fan myself before, but somehow this one just really got me, especially one character. And so, this happened. Yes, that character, Kocho Shinobu, Shinobu Kocho to you Western folks, she just really got to me. I've never been much of a person to, fall for a fictional character, but Shinobu really got me. She's on my shirt here somewhere too. There she is. Anyway. What else did we do then? Well, there was not much going on, but I did have a chance to revisit my CD collection, and I went ahead and explored the music of Garnet Crow, who you see back over there, a band that I picked up many years ago and always followed their albums for about 10 years and then stopped listening to them. I really got into their music during the latter half, the end of the summer and early fall. I think I went 10 weeks listening to almost nothing but Garnet Crow. But I did manage to pick up some albums coming out later on in the year, from August onwards. So let's just take a look at those. I now turn you over to the December 30th me. Let's talk about the albums that I did get this year. There were not so many, but one of the first ones I picked up early on. This is Babal, Spirit in a Meat Suit, and this is the third installment in their their trilogy, triptych? Trilogy of albums for the Circle of Confusion of Tongues. Now, over the last 2-3 years, I have been including Babal in my videos as their first Circle of Confusion of Tongues came out, and then later on the second part, which was actually issued in 3 EPs, and then finally the third part here in this album, Spirit in a Meat Suit. I've talked about Babal. They are certainly an interesting band. I probably originally would not have thought to pick them up, but I was kind of considering it, and then Melodic Revolution Records sent me a complimentary copy, and it turned out that I really liked it. So I've been picking up their releases, and they are certainly a unique band. Rob Williams composes some really excellent music. Okay, you're going to hear it, alright? If you haven't already heard Babal on my videos before, and if you haven't heard them yet, you're going to hear it. And vocalist Karen Langley, she writes some really interesting lyrics and has such a unique way of expressing those lyrics in the song. She's very theatrical, and I find her very interesting to listen to. So what we're going to do is check out just a couple of songs. We're going to check out a short clip from the first track, Puss in Boots, and then we're going to check out a little bit from track number 5, Never Play Golf on Sunday. Also, if you go to YouTube, they have a video for their song Isis, track number 6, that's Babal, Isis. And just another interesting one here, Kraken Commandant, nice. This is an interesting album, as all of their albums are, so let's just check out those 2 songs so you can, the clip from each of those songs so you have an idea of what it is I'm talking about. Babal, Spirit in a Meat Suit, here we go.
Better to see his cunning face. He's Puss in Boots, cunning, deceitful, charming, duplicitous. Cunning, deceitful, charming, duplicitous. Looking out for himself while looking out for no one else. He left her and went to play golf. A match from which he never returned. Dropped dead in life. So strong and charismatic.
So, this album, I actually made a whole video about it. This is Snakes and Angels Origins by GorMusik. This is Gordo Bennett, who has basically done everything from the guitars, the bass, and the keyboards, and the orchestration, and so on. He's just had Jay McGuerin in on drums, and Pete Jones coming in to do some of the vocals. Gordo actually does some of his own vocals here, mostly the kind of spoken poetic parts. This album has received a lot of praise by music critics, and as well, I guess, like prog type podcasts or radio stations and so on, they have all given this album really high reviews, high ratings. It is a fabulous piece of work, and Gordo really shows his talent for progressive rock, progressive metal, atmospheric, psychedelic, whimsical. I don't know, he just a lot of stuff on this album. You should go back and check out my episode about this. It was done back in September, in case you haven't seen that video yet. But just in case, I'm going to tempt you a little bit here with a sample, yet another sample from this album. I think we're going to take a look at The Wandering and just play a little bit from that. That is track 3. All right, and if you like what you hear and you want to hear more, you can find out more from GorMusik on YouTube, and I think it's on like Bandcamp or Spotify or whatever. It's out there all over the place. And also, just to let you know, Gordo still has some CDs left, so if you're interested in picking up a physical copy, do try to get a hold of one. So here we go. The Wandering, track 3 from Snakes and Angels Origins by GorMusik.
Hopelessly lost in these sands of
There was a lot of excitement in the air about this album. This is Transport Aerian Skywound. I talked about Transport Aerian a while back with their last album, Therianthrope. I probably got that wrong, but anyway, I know the word, I just don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, a Transport Aerian by a fellow who goes by the name of Hamlet. Very interesting fellow. He is a very imaginative and intelligent songwriter. He's also very creative musically. His albums, the Transport Aerian albums, they are not the type of album that you're going to just put on while taking a drive or to listen to while you're washing the dishes or something like that. I don't listen to Transport Aerian so much because when I want to listen to them, I really want to listen. They're the kind of albums that you actually experience, I think. Whether you listen to all the lyrics or not, just the music and the overall atmosphere, it's something that you have to pay attention to. Otherwise, you're going to wonder, like, what on earth is going on here sometimes. But this one here, Skywound, I think might be the best of the 4 Transport Aerian albums that are out there. Hamlet, has brought in additional musicians, though they're not listed on the back, but he's brought in musicians, 3 other musicians to contribute, and as well, each of the Transport Aerian albums have a female voice, basically reading out what is kind of like poetry in a way, and she is on here as well, so that's cool because it does still make it a Transport Aerian album with her on here, I think. I think Hamlet has also said himself that this may be his the best Transport Aerian album. He's really pleased with it. And I was really interested in playing the song Moses on here, but in a recent exchange with Hamlet, he said almost nobody listens to Moses, according to the statistics. And I thought, well, then I'm going to change my name to Almost Nobody, because I listened to the song Moses, and I think it is just great. And Almost Nobody probably is a good description of who I am. Anyway, what we're going to do instead is we're going to listen to a bit from the first track, Shall Not Be, and there is a forthcoming video for that. And also the final track, which is the title track of the album. Hamlet is particularly fond of that one, so I think we'll just play a short sample from that as well. So Shall Not Be and Skywound from Transport Aerian's 4th album, Skywound. Take it away.
While we still dancing below, for all desires, born to try.
So another album I'd like to talk about, this is Follow Your Heart by Johannes Lully. Now, Johannes Lully is more known for his work with Perfect Beings and previously Moth Vellum, both prog rock bands. He's also done some solo solo albums as well. His most recent one, I think, was Kitara, which was more of a prog rock, but with some jazz in it. And this one here, Follow Your Heart, this is exactly a jazz album. He teamed up with some other jazz musicians. Oh, there they are. And put together this album here. And I can't say that jazz is the turn-to music for me usually, but I like Johannes's work, and so the fact that they only made 250 copies on CD, I felt I would like to get it, and it is a different listening experience. I have found some tracks already that I rather like, and I did want to try to feature them here, but when I shot off a message to Johannes asking him if it would be okay to feature his music once again, he said that actually all the music here is not his original music. He had to purchase the rights to record this music, and so he cannot grant me permission to use it. I would have to arrange to get the rights to that music to feature in this video. So instead what you can do is you can go to My Sonic Temple. My Sonic Temple, that is Johannes Lully's record label, his own record label, and probably you can find more about Follow Your Heart there. I don't know if you'll also find him on Spotify or YouTube or wherever, but if you're interested in hearing what Johannes Lully was doing with jazz musicians, it's quite good. I do recommend it if you're into that kind of thing. There it is, Johannes Lully, Follow Your Heart. Okay, there are two more albums which are, as we speak, digital downloads only, but I'd like to talk about them. The first is Band of Rain with the Sun King. Now, Band of Rain is yet another band that I have talked about 2 or 3 times on this video channel. I talked about them with their albums Petrichor, Svengali, originally Dust of Stars. So they're a band also that I quite enjoy listening to. Their music is typically these longer pieces of around 7 or 8 minutes long, very atmospheric and moody. There's a kind of old Pink Floyd feel to them, but not really. There's this kind of a atmospheric, psychedelic, but with a bit of a darker side and sometimes a bit of a lighter side. And each album, their recent releases, have had different vocalists coming on, so they don't have a set vocalists. They ask someone to come in and sing for that album, and so that's what they've done again for the Sun King. And once again, it's an album I enjoy, so I would like to feature a couple of tracks from the Sun King by Band of Rain. One of them is called The Gospel Oak, and the other one, Drat. I can't remember which I decided. I was vacillating between 2 different tracks. You know what, let's just hear 2 tracks from the Sun King by Band of Rain. I'll put the titles in on the video. Here we go. Okay, and then one more monstrous collection of songs I want to talk about. I have often featured, whenever I feature music in my videos, nearly always it's by artists from the Melodic Revolution Records label. I should have back here, a Melodic Revolution Records radio sticker. Anyway, I do feature a lot of bands on that label, and it is probably because that label is very, the main dude, Nick Katona, is very kind to let me feature the music of his artists as well. I am in touch with a lot of the artists, which is partly why I keep featuring the music on my video channel. Anyway, Melodic Revolution Records this year celebrated its 15th year anniversary, and what Nick did was to go through their entire catalog of artists from the last 15 years and put together a huge song selection. What was it, 110 songs or something like that? And it would be the equivalent of, I think, 6 or more CDs, he said. So right now it is a download only, but it features a heck of a lot of music. And one of the, I think, Melodic Revolution Records, one of their mottos, catchphrases, is music that you never knew you'd love, or something like that. Basically, they have got a lot of great artists, a lot of great music on there that you probably would not normally hear about, because they're just not up there on those kind of more major labels and hitting the tops of the charts. However, these prog radio stations, prog podcasting people and so on, they are keen to pick up on artists from Melodic Revolution Records because they've got so many really great people out there, such as some of the people I usually talk about, like I said. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to pick out maybe 3 or 4 tracks. It's a lot. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet. I'm going to pick out 3 or 4 tracks and just feature some short clips. Last year, by the way, I did, in my year-end video, episode 36. Actually, that was episode 37. It was the year-end video that started the year. That one. I did actually feature, I think, 7 tracks from their latest compilation release. They do release a compilation every couple of years or so. And anyway, so I did that. You can always check out that episode 37 at the beginning of 2021. Anyway, so let's just hear a selection of some tracks from their 15-year anniversary compilation. Here we go. There were a couple of other artists whose albums I was really looking forward to getting this year, except when they were finally released, I was not in a financially comfortable situation to merit spending the money on them. And then later on, when I thought I would, I ended up buying more Kimetsu no Yaiba goods, especially Shinobu Kocho. What can you do, huh? Anyway, one of those albums was Karma Moy's album Room 101, which they released earlier this year. I think it was around June or so. I've talked about Karma Moy a couple of times on this channel. Way back when, I think I talked about 2 or 3 of their albums in one video, and then I talked about their recent release a year or 2 ago. So yeah, it was... I had high expectations for it, and I'm sure it's great. And I will get there. I really will. Another artist I was really looking forward to hearing from was Caribou. I have never missed a Caribou release since 2016. I think they have, 8 or something albums out since then that I have on my shelf now. And the new one, Age of Amber, came out just late summer, early autumn. And I would normally have put my order in, as I always do, but I haven't done so yet. However, the reviews in the Caribou fan club on Facebook, everybody is saying it is a brilliant album. They're probably biased because they like the band, and I like the band too. So when I get it, I'll probably also think it's a great album, but that's going to have to wait a little bit. There were some other albums too that were coming out that I was thinking to get, and there are some bands like United Progressive Fraternity, Southern Empire, and a few other ones. They've got albums due out. There was just things that came up during the year, and I just thought I'd like to get it, but I really don't feel comfortable spending the money on that right now. And then I went and bought more Shinobu Kocho goods. Jeez. Anyway, so a couple of albums that were kind of really important ones that I did get. Styx, Crash of the Crown. I did a review video about this album. I still think it's really great. Again, I listened to some of the tracks a few days back. I do still think this is a brilliant album. Of course, I can't feature any music because, you know, am I going to call up Styx or their record label and say, hey, can I use some music for my video? It's easy to do that with the people that I'm already connected with. Anyway, and then another one that the international heavy metal, Japanese heavy metal community was waiting for was Ningenisu Kuraku, their 22nd album. Ningenisu, as you may have heard, kind of really cracked it big time 2 years back with their song Heartless Scat, Mujono Scatto, and their 21st album really catapulted their career internationally. They actually went abroad just when COVID was starting to spread. They made it to Germany and England and made it back to Japan. They were supposed to go to Texas, and then that was all cancelled because of the virus. But in the meantime, they released their 22nd album, and it is a really good one. And the opening song, Toshishun, there's a video for that, and apparently they've released a live video recording for the last one, Yoake Mae, Before the Dawn. So there it is. I put up a magazine here too. Also Garnet Crow in the background. Kind of a Japanese theme this time, isn't it? Anyway, so there was that. And I think that was pretty much it for my purchases of like 2021 releases. Yeah. So, Marco Ragni. I also wanted to mention he just put out a new album. He has also been featured on this channel at least 3 times before. Very nice guy. His album, he was going to start sending it out in the mail. Now he's in quarantine in Italy and he can't get out to the post office until sometime in the beginning of January. I really wanted to hear his new album as well. And Coloratura, whom I featured on this channel once before, had a brilliant album. They have a new one out after, 2 or 3 years since the last one. So that's, 1, 2, 3, at least 4 more albums I really wanted, I should have had, ready to show you by this video, but no. Also, last year I did my Canadian heavy metal video, the one about, I went out searching for newer bands. And 3 of those bands, Lutharo, Ravenous, and Freeways, released new material this year. Lutharo with their first full-length album after 2 EPs. Ravenous, I believe it's their second full-length album. And Freeways with 2 more songs. We got to hear more from Freeways because they're really cool. And I did mention them last year as well. And then also, Yes had a new album out this year. And it is probably the first time in about 10 years that I didn't rush out to buy a Yes album because Honestly, I actually was rather disappointed with the last one. I thought it should be really good, and I thought it was really good, and then actually yeah, okay. So I don't know, maybe it's good, maybe it's not, I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, so, oh, and one interesting thing that came up after my video about concept albums, narrative concept albums, I happened to watch a video on a YouTube channel called World Music and Relaxing Soothing Meditation, which turns out that anything I've heard on this guy's video channel so far has not really been world music in the sense of you would think of world music. Rather, it's just music from different countries around the world. Basically, rock, progressive rock. And relaxing, soothing meditation, not so much. The video I saw of his was him reviewing a song by Wobbler, one of my favorite modern progressive rock bands doing retro style. And I commented on his video, then he went and watched my video of concept narratives, and he picked out The Sword, which is a kind of hard rock stoner metal band out of Texas, and he reviewed one of their songs on his channel, and he mentioned Music is a Journey a couple of times during his video. So that was really nice. So I'm mentioning him, world music, relaxing, soothing meditation. And in fact, I have his latest video queued up here now, so we can hear just a little bit about what he's doing. He is reviewing a reaction to Lady Owl. That's got a nice groovy beat to it. Yeah, so relaxing, soothing meditation, not so sure. But I think I like the music he's featuring on his channel. So, there we go. If you want to find out what he's listening to, do check out his channel then. That is World Music plus Relaxing, Soothing Meditation. Okay, so before we wrap this video up, a couple of things I wanted to mention. First of all, at the end of 2018, when my first year of this, I think I had 22 subscribers at the end of the year. And last I checked, I think I'm up to 461 now. So a big thank you to everybody who decided to subscribe. I know some people have subscribed because I did a thrash metal video and a death metal video, and some people subscribed because I talked a lot about Ningen Yisu, and some people subscribed because I'm talking about their music and featuring their music on here. I know that, and their friends and so on. So there are many different reasons why people have subscribed, and if you're like me, you probably subscribe to someone's video or channel, you watch a few videos and then move on and forget about them. So probably a lot of people who subscribed over the last 4 years have since forgotten about me. And that's okay, because, you know, that's how it goes. But anyway, thanks to everyone who bothered to subscribe. Thanks to all the people who left me comments on the videos and likes. I actually got one dislike. I think I've had two, but one of them was my daughter who disliked the character I was playing in my video. But the other one was an actual official, I don't know who it was, dislike. So I guess that means I'm moving up as well. I've actually seen some advertising at the beginning of a couple of my videos. So, wow, I'm moving up in the world. Let me see here. Also, a friend of mine introduced me to something called Social Blade. And I checked it just a couple of weeks back, and my video channel had a C+ rating. However, it has now been upgraded to a B-. Ooh, I'm moving up. So Social Blade, my Social Blade rank is 647,539th for YouTube channels. Let me see here. I have a subscriber rank of 17,188th place. All right, and, oh, video views rank. I am ranked at number 3,268,450th place. I don't know exactly what that means. And apparently I have an estimated monthly earnings of 18 cents to $3, with a estimated yearly earning of $2 to $34. Wow. So I guess all the copyright claims I've been getting on using other people's music in my videos means they're getting my $2? That's okay. I'm not doing this to make money. It's just a hobby. So that basically wraps up 2021 for Music as a Journey at the beginning of 2022. But anyway, I did really try my best. But you know, I'd spent a lot of time in 2021 looking back at my collection, which was good to go back and revisit a lot of albums hadn't heard for a long time, or albums I hadn't really listened to so much recently anyway. What's ahead in 2022 for Music as a Journey? Well, it would be nice to say that I'm looking forward to picking up a lot of new releases. However, our hot water tank is leaking. Happened a couple of days ago, and the part is irreplaceable. They don't make it anymore, and it looks like we're going to have to buy a new tank, which is going to cost us probably in the neighborhood of $3,500 if we convert to dollars from yen, and that's money we don't have. So yeah, maybe CD purchasing is going to be a little bit slow. So what I decided to do was to start off the year with episode 49, looking back to 1972, 1982, maybe 1992. And then after that, we're going to hit our 50th episode, so I might plan something special for that. We'll see. Anyway, everyone, thank you for this year. Thanks for all the people who subscribed, who commented, who liked, who watched, who support good music. Catch you in 2022. Is that a catch? 22? See you in the next video. Bye.